Hey guys, okay, I'm back after a while. Hopefully you would have seen my last video, which is the UK part 2 video of my family trip. It's kind of a new video for me. I didn't really do a lot of talking in it, or if I did, it was like that one section, or if you did see me talking, it was like over some music. And it was a family trip that I wanted to document because we haven't been to the UK in so long. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed that. So today's video is going to be top 10 tips on how to relieve stress or reduce stress during the IB diploma. The reason why I decided to do this video is because so many of you enjoyed my last video, which was the top 10 tips on how to survive IB. And that was essentially focusing on the exam aspect of it because I was going through my exams then, so it was kind of a way to help me, which evidently helped a lot of you, and that racked up a bunch of views and a bunch of likes and a lot of comments. I'm pretty sure I replied to all of them, so thank you to everyone who did do that and supported me. The reason why I wanted to make this video is because the last one was focused on exams. The entirety of the IB diploma isn't just solely focused on the exams. Yes, that's what gets you the diploma in the end, your final grade, but there's so many things that lead up to it during the IB diploma that not many people talk about, like what's the best way to tackle CAS, or what's the best way to tackle the IAs, or which IAs are the most important. This is the kind of video that's going to give you all of these little details. Like, the IB diploma is stress intensive, like I can't lie to you about that, but I think if you follow these tips, then you'll be able to reduce the stress, and that'll reflect on your exam results, and you can use the last video's tips to help you with the exams. Anyway, I'll stop rambling and we can go into the video. So tip 1, you need to know which major or which career path you want to go down when you're going into university. Yeah, you need to know which subjects are suited for your uni and are therefore suited for your course. Because I wanted to do engineering, the courses that you need definitely is HL Maths and HL Physics. In the IB diploma, you have 3 HLs and 3 SLs. You can do a thing where you have 4 HLs and 2 SLs, or even 5 HLs and 2 SLs, but that kind of depends on which subjects you're taking and how much work you want to take on. At the beginning of the IB diploma, I did take 4 HLs, and my 4 HLs were Art, Maths, Physics, Econ, but then in the end I decided to move Econ back down to SL because, well, one, I didn't need it. I didn't actually need it for my university course, so it wasn't going to help me in the end anyway, and it would just put less stress on me during the exam process. And another important thing about knowing which major you want to do, you have to make sure that it's something that you love doing. Plus, sorry, my dog's walking around, he has really long nails and it's like clipping, so if you hear that in the background, that's probably him. Yeah, so for your major, you need to make sure that you love what you're going to do because it's going to be what you're going to be doing for essentially the rest of your life unless you decide to do something else. So for tip 2, you need to research your uni requirements, like the requirements that are specific to your uni, and normally they are called prerequisites. So these are the subjects that you need to do and at what level you need to achieve them at in order to enter the course in the university. But then universities also have an overall point requirement for the IB, so often if you're going to like top bracket unis, it's like between 38 points overall to maybe like 42 points overall. Normally it includes TOK and EE points, which you can be awarded 3 points from that. When I mention high bracket universities, lots of people want to go to the high bracket universities because they think that that's what they have to do, but not everyone has to go down that route because achieving a 38 overall, it is pretty difficult. Like, you have to work pretty intensively. Trying to get a 42 is also really difficult, but I mean, it does depend on which subjects you choose in the end. When you're choosing your universities, you need to know what is realistic and what is achievable. Make sure to not just look in the top 10 or the top 20 in the world. Really research which university is realistic and achievable for you. Make sure you go to your careers council. We had a careers team in our school and they were so helpful. They would help you in your personal statement. They would research unis for you. They would show you requirements. Like, if you didn't know how to do it yourself, they would literally do it for you, like within an hour. And I don't know how they managed to find everything that I needed. Get in touch with your careers team and get an appointment as soon as possible so you can start discussing all of these things. And make sure you talk to your parents as well because they're just as useful. Tip 3, this is pretty important, especially at the beginning of year 12 when you have decided on your subjects. So you're going to have the subjects that you need to get into university, but in the IB you have to do 6 subjects, which cover like all the 6 areas. At the beginning of year 12, you get to try out all your subjects and you get to see which ones you like the most. I advise when you're choosing which subjects to do in your IB that you think really carefully about which ones you want to do, because because there is a time where you can swap your subjects, and if you really hate it, I highly, highly, highly recommend to just swap it. Swap it as soon as you can. Do not wait until the end of year 12 when it's way too late because you can't catch up on a whole year's work of stuff, and you just have to put through a subject that you hate, do the exam, and get maybe a bad result, maybe a good result, but you know, you're not enjoying it. So tip 4 kind of goes back to what I was saying before on how you have to like your teachers, or if you can't put it in yourself to like them, then just put up with them, because if it is a subject that you need, or it's the best out of the lot, then you're just gonna have to deal with it. And I know a bunch of people who have been in that situation, but the more that you fight back with the teacher or be like passive aggressive and show that you're not listening, oh my god, they can affect your grade, like pretty much, because they're the ones who mark your IAs, they're the ones who mark your exams. They're the one that gives you like advice on your IAs, and if you're not being nice to them and you're not showing them any respect, then why would they try to show you any respect? And I know that's really unprofessional of them, but they are human. Imagine if you were in that situation, would you want to give that much advice back if some kid was like treating you really unfairly? You gotta think of it from their point of view as well. My advice is just treat people how you want to be treated. Okay, for tip 5, I think I mentioned this in my last video. It would definitely be to know when to get help. If you are struggling in a subject and you need to consider getting like outside tutoring, then please know that everyone goes through the same thing. Like they all go through like a tutoring is quite expensive, but it's going to help me like raise my grade, and that's going to affect me in the future. And then if I get this grade, then I'll get to go to this uni instead of this uni. And it's like, you know, there are a lot of questions that you have to ask yourself, but from my experience, I had to do HO maths. I knew that if I continued in the pace that I was going, I wasn't learning fast enough. I probably would struggle to get the grade that I needed to get into the university that I'm in now, or in my high reach university. And honestly, it was the best decision of my life. Yes, tutoring is pricey, but if you use it wisely, it's really gonna help you towards your grade and get you into the uni that you potentially want. So for tip 6, this is kind of a tip that has been passed down to me by people who were in year 13 when I was in year 12, and this was actually really helpful because no one actually really talks about the CAS element of IB. It's actually a failing requirement if you don't complete your CAS. And it seems pretty silly, but do what you can to get that 1 point because it goes towards your TOK score, extra additional 3 points thing. So the tip that they gave me was to try and complete all of my CAS in year 12, and I actually did complete everything in year 12 because you only had to do 3 majors and 3 minors. You had to do a major and minor in each section. So if you don't know what CAS is, it stands for Creativity, Action, and Service, like CAS. The major and minor basically stands for how long you pursue the project for. So yeah, if you get your CAS all done in year 12, then in year 13, all you have to do is focus on your exams, your IAs, EEs, TOKs, blah, blah, blah. Be a hermit, get the grades, and then go to the uni that you want to. So for any year 12s out there, take this advice. Very helpful. Passed down by generations. Use it. So for tip 7, it would definitely be to do well in any of your IAs, oral exams, IOCs, FOAs, any of the internally assessed stuff, because those can count towards 20% of your grade or even 50% of your grade, and that is so helpful. So a maths IA or a physics IA is worth 20% of your grade, and that could be the difference in the end when you do your final exams between a level 7 or a level 6. Like it can get you from one level to another, and it's only 20%, and you can get that done within, you know, year 13 or year 12. You get so many chances to rewrite this thing. You can give it to your teacher, they give you feedback, you can edit it as much as you can until you get a 7. And if you get a 7, then that can like potentially push your grade up. And you don't know how handy that is going into the exam and feeling slightly more relaxed because you know, oh hey, I have 20% of a grade, which was a level 7 in my back pocket, already done, guaranteed. It helps towards your predicted grades, which are important towards your unis because in the end they send your predicted grades to unis anyway. So do well in your IAs or any internally assessed things. So tip 7 is how you're going to get the most points in your core points. Core points of the IB, which constitute TOK and the EE. So in TOK, you get assessed by doing the TOK essay and the TOK presentation. We did the TOK presentation first, and I highly recommend that you do this on your own. And even though me and my partner, we were really good friends. We did really well in our final presentation. The only issue was we were slightly out of time, and so we got deducted a whole point. Like I was 9 minutes and 30 seconds, and then he was 9:50 or 10 minutes, and suddenly we got deducted a whole point. But it does depend on how harsh your marker is. But if you want to make sure that you get the highest grade possible, doing it on your own is the best way to ensure that. For the TOK essay, make sure you get second opinions on your essay. Like, you can't just be complacent. Write your essay, finish it early, give it to your teacher, and one teacher gives you one opinion because they've read the same essay like over and over again, so they can only give you so many opinions. Then that'll ensure that you can write the best essay possible. The reason why I'm giving this advice to you is because I didn't do that and I suffered the consequences. So do it, please. Yes, IB is full of loads of acronyms, bear with me. For the extended essay, you have to write essentially 4,000 words maximum on a subject that you choose. And when choosing the subject, you get assigned what they call a supervisor. That supervisor is going to be like a teacher who already teaches in the field of the subject that you've chosen in your school. So I chose physics for my EE, and I got my physics teacher, which I was really lucky because we have a really good relationship. My main advice towards the EE is to have a good relationship with your EE supervisor, because they're the ones who are going to be reading your EE and giving you crucial feedback that is seriously going to help your grade on it. And if you're someone like me who chose physics EE, which is really flippin' difficult, and I didn't realize until I took it that it was one of the hardest ones to get a good grade, because getting an A in the physics EE is like unheard of. Like, B's are like super common. So if you want 3 points, then don't do the physics EE unless you know you're going to do really well, but it is really difficult. So bear that in mind. The other thing that I advise towards doing the EE is choosing a subject which relates to your field. So the reason why I did physics is because it does play a major part in engineering. And if you do something in your EE like that, then you can put it in your personal statement, and then that'll just make your personal statement look even better, because then you can include what you've done in school and show the unis like, hey, this is what I'm doing, I proved this, and you know, I'm great, I'm scientific. Yeah! Tip 9 is pretty much to help reduce your mental stress. Basically, don't just sit in your house and study for hours on end on the same subject or the same topic over and over again because you're frustrated that you're not getting it the first time, because that's just going to be counterproductive. You need to have a couple of rest days. And this is very important in year 13, and if you do get your CAS finished in year 12, if you finish the last tip, in year 13 you'll have plenty of time after school to just rest, reboot, relax. In the end, you have to make a lot of compromises to best suit you and how you're going to be able to handle the stress. If you can handle everything, good on you. You are a freak of nature. When you do get school holidays, or you get like the long holidays like Christmas, Chinese New Year, Easter, all that kind of stuff, please use it wisely. Use it to relax. Yes, you could study for maybe the first 2 days of that holiday and the last 2 days of that holiday. Don't spend the whole time revising, because you do have family, you do have friends that you want to hang out with. You can't just keep yourself in this study bubble, which is impenetrable from the outside world. Like, you need to break out of it, do fun things. It'll just help you mentally, and you'll just be a happier person. Less depressed when you go to school, and that's awesome. Everyone should be less depressed. So for the very last tip, you need to make sure that you keep a good and healthy diet. There was one teacher at my school who used to tell us every year during our GCSEs and during our IB exams was to make sure that we had a good healthy diet. She always tell us to eat and sleep properly, because if we don't do that, if we're not healthy, then we're not going to be functioning human beings, and if we can't function, then we can't do our exams properly, and it's going to ruin the rest of our lives. And that's basically what she said. And make sure that you look after yourself, because you only have one life to live. So make sure it's as good as it can be. Okay, so that's the end of the video. Those are all of the 10 tips that I have to give to reduce the amount of stress that you accumulate during the IB diploma. I hope that all of them, or if not some of them, were pretty useful to you guys, whether you're in year 12, year 11, year 13, and that they can help answer any questions that you had about the IB diploma that you didn't know before, or the best ways to tackle certain things like CAS and your core points, uni decisions, all that kind of stuff, where a lot of people tend to forget about because a lot of people just focus on the exam aspect of the IB. If you do have more questions, please make sure to leave them down in the comment section below, and I will reply to any of the questions that you may have, like I did in my last video. And if you do want to comment below any any future suggestions on videos that you want me to do, maybe like specific IB subject videos. So I could do that and get some of my friends to give me advice to tell you. If any of you are doing VTech, I do know a lot of people who are doing VTech, so I can probably get some tips and advice from them to you. If you want some GCSE advice, if I still remember everything, I can probably give you some advice too. But just let me know what you guys are liking. Give this video a like. If you want to see more of me, just make sure to click that subscribe button. Thanks to all the people who have subscribed to me, liked my videos, commented, shown your support. It really means a lot, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!